Sponsored by Transitions Empowerment. And here are your hosts, Larry, Mira, and Wube Gabray.
Welcome to another episode of Ballin in VA. We got another 804 product straight out of Monacan High School in Richmond, Virginia. He averaged 13.6 rebounds per game. He was a two-time team MVP. He was second team All-Metro, first team All-Dominion District. He led Monacan to the Dominion District Tournament Championship, which they haven't done in a long time. He won the 804 All-Star Game Slam Dunk Championship. He holds the school record, and we're going to talk about this later, but he holds a school record for single game with 43 points. Asterisk, we're going to talk about that later. He was recruited and went to VMI for a little bit, then he went to Mary Washington, and now he's pursuing a career in education, man. We're going to get into all that in his storybook, who is Mr. Sean Armstrong. Sean, man, thanks for hopping on with us, bro.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Monacan legend in my book. I don't care what nobody say.
That's why you're my dog.
I appreciate that, man.
Indeed, man. Like I said, I read stories about you. I was living in, I'm living in the Tidewater area, and I always kept up with the Richmond area in sports. I always see your name in the box scores, and you putting up numbers, man. But it started somewhere, though, dog. Where did it start for you, man? And what was the first time you picked up a ball and you thought to yourself, you know what, this game might take me somewhere?
Man, I've been playing ball since 5, 6. Crazy because all my friends growing up was a year older than me, and then my brother's 4 years older than me. So all his friends were always around. So I was always playing with older guys. And I think my first memory was probably when I was like 8. I was too young to play Parks and Recs, the little county league. But a friend of mine, his mom, she was the director of the program. And she knew how bad I wanted to play, so she would not turn me away to play for the YMCA for another year. So she let me play up with the older guys. And I remember first year I'm playing with them, we lost our first game by like 10 points. And she said she's never seen a group of kids so disappointed. We were, back then, like I said, 8 or 9 years old, we was like, we're not losing another game this year. That's how serious we took it. We ended up winning the championship my first year. So that's probably when I first fell in love with the game of basketball. Personally, I don't think I got good until about 6th, 7th grade when I finally started to mature a little bit. I played for Providence. 6th grade, I was slated to be the only 6th grader to make the team. I missed the last trial because I was sick. So, it is what it is at that point. But 7th, 8th grade, 2 years started in middle school, played JV ball in Monacan my freshman year. And I actually had to ask to try out for varsity in my sophomore year because we had 2 guys, Darian brothers, Karan Williams, they both transferred out the program.
Shout out to those brothers. Those brothers was dope.
Man.
Matter of fact, Darian brothers, right? You on my wall, right? Get behind me.
He went to Benedictine, right?
There you go.
Benedictine. Yep. Karan with Christchurch.
Christchurch. Yeah, Christchurch.
Yeah. And if those 2 guys would have stayed around, we would have done a lot of more winning. But, it was kind of a blessing in disguise for me because, like I said, I had to ask to travel varsity. And I think it was like the day of tryouts where at the time Coach Stacks was like, yeah, come on, let me see what you got. So that kind of, helped me segue into high school basketball a little bit.
Yeah, I want to say shout out to Darian brothers and shout out to Karan Williams, man. Those boys was dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I remember when his daddy told him that he was leaving Monacan. He said, y'all get us no help, man. We out here.
Yeah.
And
he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave. But the private schools was coming in. That's when they lost to Highland Springs in the first round of the regional tournament with J3, Brandon Rozelle, and my man, the tall kid, Jamal Abrams. Yep. Shout out to all those guys, man. So you're right, man.
And brothers went on to play at University of Richmond.
Right? Karan played at
Robert Morris,
then Wake Forest.
And then Wake Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, so
he sure did.
Yeah, so I still, I haven't talked to either one of them in a while, but we kept in touch over the years, and to my knowledge, they're both doing well. Both married, I think. I know Darren got a couple kids, so yeah, man, good guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Both Monacan legends too.
Yes, sir. Without a doubt.
They just took another route. That's all.
Yes, sir.
So you get to Monacan, man. You establish yourself, and you had some good teams, man, especially that senior year. But before that senior year, what was it like playing with the varsity kids? I mean, you said the two guys left and it gave you an opportunity to kind of step right in, right?
Yeah. So at Monacan at that point, it always felt like we was in the shadow of the girls team because they always have a track record of tremendous success.
Thank you for telling that.
Coach Starr always did a great job with that program. For as long as I remember, since before I was in high school, there was, the girls team was always competing, for state championships. But I remember, our first game my sophomore year was against LC Bird, and that's when they had Rico, Travis Kill. I don't know if Cam Pankey was on varsity at that point, but they had some ballers. They had some good guys on that team. I came off the bench and hit like my first 4 or 5 shots, like finished with 16 and was a starter from that point on. So that game right there really, really helped me gain my confidence as far as being able to play on that level. Because like I said, I had to ask to try out for varsity. So once I, realized I could play with these guys, that kind of like, opened my game up a lot more. We had high expectations our junior year, just because we knew the talent that we had, but we just had the experience. Me and Cedric Irvin were the 2 returning varsity players. Everybody else was on JV the previous year.
Is that Sip?
Sip, yep. That's my dog. Yep. So like I said, we were the only 2 coming back when we should not have been. There was at least 3 or 4 of the sophomores that could have been on varsity with me. But things happen for a different reason, whatever the case may be. But we definitely underperformed my junior year. I think we won like 9 games, which was, we could have easily won 18, 19 games that year. But, like I said, lack of experience, new coach, Coach Rob, that's my guy to this day.
Shout out to Coach Rob.
Yeah,
too.
I love that man to death. He came in, he tried to teach us to play the game the right way. But, all those setbacks our junior year really helped for our senior year, which we had a shot to win state senior year. To this day, I think we were one of the best teams in the state. We just ran into some problems, some problems.
Which we gonna get into later on.
We're gonna talk about
we
that.
ran into some problems. So, but I think that team, and I may be biased, but this is how I feel. The 2010 team, we kind of put the Monacan program on the map. I know they had a good couple years after us in the winning states. To this day, I say we'll be that state championship team by 30. I don't care what nobody says. That's my feeling.
Larry just said that same thing right before we got on.
Oh my God. Anybody that know, and like I said, they won states. I'm proud of them boys. I think the Monacan family's proud. But if you ask anybody except for people on that team, they'll tell you without a doubt we would mop the floor them boys.
Well, by me watching you ever since 6th, 7th grade, mostly I would say 7th grade, I followed that Monacan team closely, that 17 team that won, 16 team that won a championship. And I just told Wu before we signed on, there was no question to me, and there's no disrespect to them. But I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all chemistry was better, and straight up, they couldn't fuck with y'all. Y'all just had a chemistry that senior year that was just, y'all been playing together since middle school.
That we played together since middle school. Like I said, since we all felt like we underperformed our junior year, that summer between junior year and senior year, like we were playing together every day. A lot of us played AAU together that year. Coach Rob, we were attacking workouts a lot differently. We went into that season thinking if we didn't win states or make a decent run at states, it was a failed season. So that's how we attacked it. I think we were the last team in the area to lose a game that year. We started off like 10, 11 and 0. So yeah, that was definitely a good year. Definitely.
Man, I remember seeing you. I don't know if you remember this, man, when you was playing at Providence. You used to rock the headband. I think you was number 15. You had to I used to call you Carmelo. Because, man, you used to ball like Carmelo Anthony, man. I was like, man, I said, that dude gonna be special, man. And I always see it. I don't know what it is, man. I saw you at Providence, and I remember seeing Megan Walker for the first time. Her and Sydney at Providence Middle. And Providence Middle had some players that come to their school, man. Middle school wise, they just suck, for whatever reason. We had some talent to come through there, man. It just
we had
sucked.
We had soccer coaches coaching basketball. That's what it was.
That's right. Because you had that little short dude, the little short coach. Oh yeah, he was terrible. Oh, big head ass. It was terrible. He was terrible.
Yeah, if that coach from Providence watching, He talking about you.
You know he is. I can't think of his name. I don't know if it was because
you only got to mention his name. People know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he terrible. Yeah, y'all know Monacan people. Y'all know who that is because he terrible. He was the worst. That's when y'all was playing on hard ass floors.
Yeah, man. It's crazy how things come full circle. I'm gonna be teaching at Providence next year. So
word.
Oh, really?
It's crazy. Yes, sir. So
wow.
So definitely gonna look into coaching too. So
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that later. But yeah, you just mentioned it. But what was it like playing with Bradley?
Oh my God.
We were just talking about him too.
I don't care what nobody say. Brad was probably top 5 talented players I've ever played with or against.
Wow.
I think since 5th, 6th grade, he had NBA range. Like, he's the best shooter I've ever seen in person by far. I know we played. Yeah, right. Ask Cosby. I think he finished college career like over 1,500 points, 4-year starter. So yeah, he was a dog. He definitely had Division I talent. He's another guy that went under the radar. By far one of the most talented players I've played with or against.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. And I'm not gonna even mess it up, man. But that dude, man, Bradley used one of those players. I used to always say he got better every year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every year he progressed every year, and he won't loud, but he just used to pull up from anyway. I was like, Bradley, what the fuck is you doing?
And this is the thing about Brad. His basketball IQ was always above everybody else.
Yes.
So he'll see a pass, see where a person is supposed to be, and they wouldn't be there. So he'll turn the ball over. So we kind of had to reel Brad back at points sometimes. But that man, like, he definitely had pro potential as well.
You know what I used to call him, Wube? I used to call him Bob Sewell. Remember Bob Sewell from
Florida State? Yeah.
He just had that IQ. He played like that, man. And shout out to Bradley, man, because Bradley, hey, man, you ever watch this, boy? Hey, you know what time it was, because I'm gonna tell you right now, them shots would have failed over there at North Side at 4300 Old Brook Road that night. It would have been a different game. It'd have been a different game. But you know,
I wish it would have failed.
It is what it is. It is.
But look, man, you
can say that.
43 points. What game was that? I know you remember that game vividly. We talked about it off camera.
George West.
Look, you can clear the air here.
Yeah, talk about that story.
So we're playing George West, and like it's our junior year, so we're already up and down, not really playing to our expectations. George West, if I remember correctly, did not win a game up to that point.
Wow. And
it was a close game the entire game. So we're like, yo, we cannot lose to George West. Like that, if we lose to George West, I quit for the season. Like, you know, that's just what it was. So I started off, you know, feeling pretty good. I hit my first few shots. Hit a shot, you know, a layup, the ball fell out my hand, still ended up going in, you know, so one of those nights. We ended up going to overtime, still in the game of overtime. The discrepancy is there was 2 different books, obviously. One book had 43, the other had 57.
Wow.
So when I watched the tape, this is a couple years later, watched the tape, they don't record all my foul shots. So with the buckets and foul shots that they recorded on film, I had at least 50. So, you know, but the books say 43. So when people ask, I say 43.
People at George with me. They need to take another math course or something, man. Come on,
right?
Bro. Cheating that man of 14 points.
Point shaving, man. What the hell y'all doing over there?
Point shaving for sure.
Yeah, but the type of guy I was happy that we got the win. I remember vividly at halftime, one of my teammates was like, you know, yo, how many points do you have right now? I was like, I don't know, but we're winning. That's all I cared about, you know.
Oh, that's good. That's deep.
Man. Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah, I was never a me type person. I always wanted the team to succeed, no matter what that took.
And that's the thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I've been waiting for this interview to talk to you for, I would say 11 years now. And I finally got it because I used to always talk to your brother. And I love your brother, man. Your brother loved you so unconditionally, man, because he was always unbiased. Even though you'd be like, man, that's my brother, don't talk about him. He was so honest about why you didn't succeed at the level that you should have and others thought. Because talent-wise, and like I said, if Travis McKay, if you see this, well, I ain't gonna even spoil that, but I felt like you was on his level, but you just needed that game to solidify who you were.
Right.
You were 6'5", you were athletic. That's when the guard changed, when the little guys couldn't dribble the ball anymore. You was bringing the ball up the floor. You could do so many different things. You was a matchup problem for so many people. And it was like, I don't know what to do with him because he might play on the block. He might play the 3 today. He might play the 4. Sometimes you played the 5. You played the point when Jeff went out the game.
Whatever.
You played 1 through 5. And I'm just like, people don't understand who this guy is that we're talking to. That boy was dope, man. Look him up, man. So to me. And
I think, oh, my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off. A lot of that is, like I said, looking back, you know, and I've had these conversations with my brother, you know, throughout the years. I was entirely too selfish because, especially senior year, we have 4 or 5 guys that can go for 20 on any given night, you know. So I never wanted to force the issue. I never wanted to, you know, put my team in a bad situation. Because like I said, Coach Rob, you know, he taught us to play the game the right way. And to this day, I pride myself in playing the game the right way. So if I go play pickup, which, you know, is not very often anymore, I'm not going to look to jack up 30, 40 shots, 20, 30 shots. I'm going to look to play the game the right way. You know, even though I was always considered, quote unquote, one of the best players on the team, I was still taking charges, still diving on the floor to lose balls. I just wanted my team to win. You know, that's all I cared about at the end of the day.
You did, man. And so, like I said, you know, I just was just in awe, and I was just so used to pissed off because I'd be like, why don't he just take over? I was being in the stands going off. I was like, man, you are better than everybody on the freaking floor.
Yep.
Just take over, but you're right. Coach Rob didn't teach y'all that. He taught you how to play the right way. You had Big Derek Cates, you had X, you had Jeff. Like I said, you had Sip. Did you ever play with Garrett Patterson?
Yeah, so he was a year older than me. So when I was on varsity as a sophomore, he was on varsity as a junior. And we played JV together too. But his senior year, he wanted to just focus on football.
Because he went to Duke. Ended up playing football at Duke. Shout out to Garrett Patterson too, man. I'm trying to get him on here too.
Grew up together.
Another Monacan legend.
Without a doubt.
You go to Duke, you definitely need to come on here if you go to Duke in any sport for sure, man.
Oh yeah. Even though I'm a Carolina guy, I
ain't really a Duke guy either, but I give him props.
Yeah, you know, I wrote a show for you.
He got the Carolina.
I appreciate that.
So look, man, you 2-time team MVP. You talked about you one of the best players on the team. You averaged 13 a game. You second team all Metro. You first team all district. You still got the record in scoring. So. And you guys, let me talk about this real quick. Y'all win that district championship, which I talked about in the intro, hasn't been done much in Monacan. And I know you said before the season, if you didn't win a state championship, it was a bust. But still, winning that title in that tournament had to mean something to you guys to go on that road.
No, it definitely felt good because that season, it was us and Cosby, you know, top of the district all year. We played at Cosby, and they beat us by 6, 7, 8, something like that. I ended up getting a concussion that game. I finished that game playing with a concussion. I remember watching that film, the last like 45 seconds, I can barely stand up, but I'm still trying to finish the game. So we lose to Cosby. And by the time it comes to play them again at Monacan, the game's canceled because of snow.
Yep, I remember that.
So that kind of, you know, put a sour taste in my mouth because we knew we were better than those guys. Like, there's no reason we should have lost. So our motto that entire year was, you know, something to prove. You know, we had STP on our warm-ups. We all had broke our huddle STP, something to prove. So that game against Cosby, you know, in the championship, you know, we felt like we had something to prove. So we wanted to leave no doubts that we were the better team. And honestly, Bradley, the first half, you know, he pretty much set the tone. I think he finished with like 28, 29, but he had like probably 17, 18 in the first half. Pulling up on the parking lot in the first half. So that was definitely our best game as a team, start to finish the entire year, without a doubt.
And that was the one game that I missed. I ended up seeing it later, but Malik called me. I was on my way to DC that night, and now I was going to Baltimore, and Malik called me. I was going through DC, passing RFK. I would never forget it because it was snowing during that time. And I remember and I was like, Malik said, Dad, man, Bradley went off tonight, man.
Crazy.
I'm telling you. There was that cause, and it was him and Corey, my nephew Corey. And I was like, man, I was just like, I said, the one game he decided to go off on, I ain't even.
I swear, I thought he had 40 at halftime. That's the way he was hitting.
Yeah, because going to Cosby always cheated you going there to play. So anybody know that play at Cosby, they just cheat you for no damn reason.
No, and that's not even exaggerating. That's what it was. Like the reason I got a concussion that game, Big Gorski, clear as day, elbow me, little cheap shot on the inbound. The year before at Monacan, he did the same. Like we sent that tape to the VHSL. He did the same thing to Jeff. He put Jeff out.
Yep. Like Jeff out the game.
Yeah. It was always
it's personal at that point. Yeah.
It was always personal with Fake Cosby. So even though that was a newer school, we always, felt like, we had to turn up against them.
So like, yeah, you win that tournament, you hang a van up in the school, and then you travel over, like Larry said, over to the north side. Was it in the first round you played JM, right? John Marsh?
No, second round. First round.
Second
round.
Okay.
Yeah, but to us, when the brackets came out and we saw we had a chance to play John Marshall, we didn't even worry about Armstrong. Like we were just focused on John Marshall. Because we knew, them and Petersburg were the two teams in the area. So we wanted to kind of prove that we were on that level as well.
Yeah, that night y'all played Armstrong, which like I told you, I was sitting beside Mr. Randy Ash. He was then the current, he was the athletic director at Armstrong, which was John F. Kennedy, which was my alma mater, which is no longer, but now ended up going to Armstrong. But he was sitting beside me. He had Mr. White, and it was Mr. I can't think of it, Mr. Horn. They were all Union alums. And there was this other guy that was sitting beside. There was another guy at the John Marshall game. They was playing somebody else in the first round. And the dude said, yo, y'all got to worry about 23. 23 is a problem. He a problem, man. And he said, y'all ain't got nobody to check him. But everybody else, y'all can probably get him. But I don't know, man. Monacan might get him, man. He might get him. So it was like he was calling his homeboy. They was like scorekeeping. So Mr. Ash told me, he said, I'm going to tell you something, Larry. That Armstrong kid ain't no joke. He said, John Marshall ain't got nobody to check him. He said, I don't think Travis can check him. He's athletic, he's fast. And even though Travis was 6'7", ready to go to Wake Forest, this was a man that, he knew his stuff. He was like, man, I'm going to invite everybody to that game. And going into that game, I'm going to let you tell it, but going to that game, it was so fucking crowded, man. It was people on the floor. The Monacan Maniacs was there. And man, I walked in that joint with the Monacan shirt on. Everybody was like, yo, wait a minute, man. You're supposed to be with us.
You over your side of the
what you doing? I said, man, my nephew went there, man. He go to the school right now. And I'm like, I'm supporting my nephew. I ain't go to John Marsh. I with Kennedy. But that game, Travis was over there eating his Skittles. I said, man, and everybody was just, it was like a Duke Carolina game. The Monacan people was going off, man, the crowd.
Yeah, man, it was an environment that we weren't used to. I thought the difference between me and him was 2 inches. He was 6'7", I was 6'5", Unfortunately, I didn't really get an opportunity to show it because, I picked up like 3 fouls in the first quarter, 4 fouls in the first half. So I wasn't, able to play as aggressive as I could. But I remember to this day, it wasn't even him that hurt us at first. It was Willie. That motherfucker, man, look.
Shout out to Willie motherfucking man. Go ahead.
My God. And he hit us with his first 8 or 10 points, and there was no turning back after that, Tyre Little, quickest, probably one of the quickest players I've ever played against in my life. Like fucking Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah, he was like a low version of Akil Carr.
Right, exactly. So he was doing what he wanted to do, and there's maybe a little bias, whatever. It might be still a little salty, whatever. I feel like Travis got every whistle that he wanted. But it is what it is. Like I said, we didn't play to the level that we were capable of, and that definitely showed at the end. I think they beat us by like 25.
Y'all got your ass beat tonight.
It was ugly. You know what I mean? But I think what I was most disappointed in after the game, of course, the fact we lost, of course, in my high school career, but I feel like that was my chance to, like you said, put myself on the same in the same atmosphere, you know, as Travis, as Doobie, as, you know, a lot of local guys that went to play high major college ball.
Travis took that game personally because he was over there eating Skittles and he got tired of hearing how good you were. That's because CT was the coach, was assistant coach. But even though Frank Threets was still coaching, but CT was doing much of it. Yeah, CT was running the show. Him and Lamar Taylor, shout out to those guys. But they got tired and they kept saying, and CT always tell the stories. He was just like, Travis took that game personally because he got tired of hearing about how good you were. And this was the time, and he said Travis is over there like, all right, we're going to show his ass. We're going to send them motherfuckers back over Southside. And this is what we're going to do.
They did.
And it was over with before it started.
Yeah, man.
Willie Mangum went to some school in Nebraska. They ended up at Eastern Michigan, now playing pro.
He was another. He could have went. I thought he was a high major player. You know, I remember the first time I saw him play. He was playing for Team Richmond in some AU tournament. I'm like, yo, how old is this kid? Like, he was doing whatever he wanted to on the field.
Like he won with 5'10", 6, 5'11", but he can shoot, man.
He sure could.
Definitely. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Mentioned Travis and the Skittles. That pissed me off so much, man. I remember telling one of my guys, I wanted to slap the Skittles out of his hand. I was so pissed.
Yeah, he was pissed off because he said he got tired of hearing how good you were. So they was like, all right, we want to see what's up. It's me and him one-on-one. What's up?
And you know, one thing I wish, you know, if the results stay the same, you know, change whatever. One thing I wish I can go back and change. I remember we had Ant Brown, he's a natural athlete. You give him anything, he can do it. You know what I mean? He was our best defensive player, bar none. And we assigned him to Travis. One thing I wish I would have done differently, which I think would have gave my guys a little more confidence. I would have said, hey, coach, nope, I got him. You know, me and Travis going one-on-one. So I would have done something small like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could have made a difference in the outcome. Could have been the same. Could have been worse. But, you know, I feel like that's one thing I could have won back and done differently.
Yeah, it's little things like that that help, you know, push your team. People surprised, you know, you'd be the morale. You'd be surprised on what pushes each team with that, something like that. That's true, man.
Yeah, man. But like I said, it is what it is. You know, they did their thing. I would after that game, I was pulling for either them or Petersburg, you know, to win state for the 2-3 years prior. You know, they were both, you know, right there. So
right there, yeah.
Man, we had Duvie Maxwell on not too long ago, man, and that was the same. He came out the same year you did.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna ask you this question. Me and Wooby asked a question, and Wooby had said what he said. Who was the better player that year to you? I'm gonna ask you a two-part question. Who was the better player, and part two, who was the better player that year in your book?
In general?
In general and that year. Because you know Travis ended up getting the player of the year.
Player of the year, yep.
Because of, we think, Marge, because of Wake Forest.
Yes, I do think that.
I'm going to say this about Doobie. And me and Bradley had this conversation before. I don't think Doobie was ever the most talented player, you know, around. But I've never seen somebody play as hard as he did. So he got, man, even like we played against, he probably don't even remember, we played against each other at AU a couple times. Even during AU, I ain't never seen nobody play as hard as that man. I think Travis had the better reputation. But, you know, it's hard to choose between the two, you know. I would take either one, you know, but Doobie definitely played harder than Travis. I think Travis had a better overall skill set. You know, he could shoot the ball better than Doobie. He could hand the ball a little better. Doobie on defense, I'll take him against anybody. You know, I'll put him on anybody, you know, play D. So it would have been nice to see them two, you know, play against each other, you know.
Everybody was waiting for that matchup too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because they played against each other early on, but it was in the I think it was that Fort Lee tournament or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but the people didn't get to see it.
No. That definitely should have been at the Siegel Center, you know.
John Marsh ended up losing. They ended up losing. They were supposed to play Petersburg. They ended up losing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think Norcom ended up beating Petersburg that year, right? In the state.
Yeah,
I think it was in.
the state.
They had
Dorian
Finney-Smith.
Finney-Smith. Yeah, we talked about him. Yeah. So look, man, you answered the question about Doovie and Mackay, but who was the best person you played against in high school? Period. Just anybody.
Question, man.
That's tough. I think throughout my entire high school career, actually, I'm gonna say AAU because during high school time, it's kind of a funny story with this. So for AAU, I played with Virginia Storm, that program, and we played in a tournament in Northern Virginia against a team from Baltimore. And we don't know these guys. They wearing these practice jerseys as they game jerseys. We got like 8 or 9 players. So we're like, yo, we about to blow these guys out.
That sound like the crib.
And I'm gonna tell you his name. I'm gonna tell you the story. They had this 6'5" lefty getting to the bucket when he wanted to, shooting from anywhere. Turns out it was CJ Fair that played at Syracuse.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Fair. Yeah, Fair was nice.
We had no idea who he was.
Yeah,
but after that game, we looked him up, and that man, he was by far the best player that I played against, throughout my high school AAU career, whatever.
6'5", he could post, and he was like you said, he was a lefty, so he kind of had that awkward game.
He was nice. Yeah, he was real crafty.
He crafty. That's the word. He was real crafty around the basket. Yes, sir.
Man. But I think in this area, I'm like I said, this might be my bias, Sean. I think Bradley's the best player I've ever played against.
There you go. Represent your squad, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think on any given day he can compete with anybody. He can definitely shoot better than anybody I've ever seen.
He can play defense.
Right. So he can do that. I will always get that nod to Bradley.
And he was a dog, bro. It's like you throw the ball out there, he just gonna get it. He gonna play. Regardless of that. So that you gotta respect.
And when he finally started dunking too, you couldn't tell him nothing.
Yeah, he was dunking. Bradley was about 6'2", and he
lanky.
Lanky. Yep.
If you saw him walking on the street, you would not think that he was a hooper. But he can compete with anybody.
He definitely give you that Billy Hoyle type 100%. Of white man can't jump.
100%. 100%.
So look, Sean, you finished your career, man. You made it to the second round of the tournament. Like I said, you second team all Metro, first team all district. What's your mindset in terms of the recruiting process? How was that going for you at that point? And ultimately, you chose VMI, but what were your other choices at that point?
Yeah, so I definitely feel like I was under recruited. VMI was the only Division I offer that I had. And I was 100% against it because I did not want to do the whole military thing. That was not me. But like I said, they were my only D1 offer that I had. I talked to Hampton. They didn't have any scholarships. This was crazy. So we went to, kind of backtrack. The summer before my senior year, we went to a camp at High Point. And it's a little team camp. And I was by far the best player at that camp. Had High Point players. It's like, yo, you need to come here next year. The assistant coaches, keep chatting with me after every game. I remember one game in particular, we was playing some team, and I got to steal a half court all by myself, about to see what I can do on a break. And one of their players kind of grabbed me from behind. Their assistant coach on the side their coach was like, no, let him go next time. We want to see what this kid can do. So I was definitely the talk of the camp at High Point. We leave. I didn't hear a peep from them. I don't know what the situation was. Yeah, I didn't hear it. Never got a phone call from them. I talked to High Point. They were actually the first school to reach out to me. But like I said, I was 100% against the whole military thing. We went to a tournament in Kentucky, and NAIA D1 team, Pikeville. One of their sister coaches, he told me he wanted me to sign on the spot. But once we leave, never heard a peep from him. So it was a lot of that going on. I don't know what the situation was. I heard through the grapevine like 3 or 4 years after I graduated that Longwood wanted me and Bradley, but never heard a peep from him, during the whole recruiting process. So I had a lot of, D3 interest, a couple of D2s. Somebody reached out to me, said they heard a rumor I was going to Union. I ain't never heard from Union, so I don't know what that was.
Yeah, we heard that too.
Yeah, it was a lot, but I never heard a peep from him. So ultimately, I ended up signing that VMI, which, like I said, I was against the military thing, but I started to open up to it. Get there for summer school, you know, get to meet a couple of the guys, get a little bit more comfortable. And I was like, all right, you know, it's not going to be as bad as I think. But I was, you know, had some stuff going on personally. Was, you know, under a lot of stress, a little bit of anxiety. So that kind of affected me medically, where I was actually misdiagnosed with a heart condition, like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy or something like that. Whatever it was, it's banned from the NCAA. So as soon as I got that diagnosis, I had to leave, you know, VMI campus. Ended up going to a specialist. Yeah, it was crazy. Ended up going to a specialist in Maryland who actually worked with Monty Williams. He has the disease in the NBA. Went to a specialist in Maryland. He took one MRI or, you know, whatever the test was. He was like, yo, there's nothing wrong with you. You're like, you're fine. You know, it could have been stress or something. So I had to go through like a 6-month deconditioning where I couldn't touch a ball. I couldn't do any type of exercise because they wanted to make sure everything in my heart was good. So at that point, you know, once I get cleared, I call Bradley. I'm like, look, I'm just trying to play. So if you know, get me on a Mary Washington, where, you know, he had a great freshman year, you know. So I ended up playing there for 2 years, which, you know, had a pretty good freshman year. Started off a little slow, but by the time I got my groove going, sprained my ankle and I missed like 5 or 6 games. And sorry if I'm long-winded, but, you know, it's kind of
no. It's your story, dog. It's your story.
This something, because I, like I said, I teach now, so this is something I tell a lot of my students. So freshman year at Mary Washington, I sprained my ankle, and my whole mindset going there was basketball. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about making friends. I didn't care about partying. I just wanted to hoop. So I sprained my ankle, ended up, you know, skipping class and stuff to get my ankle treated because I wanted to get back on the court. Obviously, that had an effect, you know, academically. So my grades were nowhere near what they should be. Fast forward through my sophomore year, because the struggle with my grades, I was on academic probation, and I had to miss the first semester. So I missed probably like 4 or 5 games that year, that semester. What a lot of people don't know is while I was working out back home, I actually broke my index finger on my shooting hand.
Oh, damn.
But, you know, I didn't want to get it looked at because I didn't want to miss any time. I don't even think I told my parents that I hurt myself, you know, but until after the fact, you know, when I had got a x-ray, you know, at the end of the season, the doctor was like, yeah, it was definitely a break. So I ended up still getting second team all conference that year with a broken finger on my shooting hand and only playing half the season. So, you know, at that point, you know, I loved it at Mary Washington, you know, loved, you know, my team, whatever, but I kind of wanted to play against a different level of competition. And me and Luke Jobber, you know, had a pretty good relationship. So hit him up about transferring to Union, and he was, you know, welcoming me with open arms. Obviously, I had to sit out that transfer year. And obviously, and apparently, you know, unfortunately, they didn't bring him back the year after.
Right.
So at that point, you know,
happened.
I lost credits transferring. You know, I was sick school at that point. So I was taking 17, 18, 19 credits so I can graduate. I was just trying to get out of, you know, I wanted to hoop, you know, still in me. But at the same time, I just wanted to finish school at that point. Actually had an opportunity to go to Claflin in South Carolina after you know, Luke didn't get rehired or whatever. But, you know, I just didn't want to go through that whole process again, you know, and it was a lot, you know, going back and forth, bouncing around. And like I said, I was ready to be done at that point with school and everything.
Man, shout out to Luke Monjabba, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he was the heart and soul of Union, man.
And the whip team when he went to State. But look, I want to go back to something you said earlier, bro. And I want people to hear this, man. This was deep. Like, and then Larry, remember Larry was saying he wished you would shoot. He wished you would shoot. Everybody wished you would shoot and dominate, but you said you were a team guy. I want all the young cats watching this to understand what you meant by that. You reached out to your former teammate, bro, and he helped you out in terms of getting you on that roster. And I want people to understand, like, the great guy that you were, he was willing to help you. You know what I'm saying? And being a good teammate back in the day and being a good dude enabled you to keep your college career going. And I want people to understand, like, that's what it's about, man. You a good dude, and you and Brad were boys, and you know, you gave him a phone call. Even Luke, man, you know, you called him up, you tried to get the Union. And that's why when Larry told me he booked you to come on, man, I heard great stuff about you. And that's the kind of things I want people to understand. Like you were down and out at VMI, you're looking for another option, and you called your boy because of the person you were and the relationship you had with your teammates, and you were able to get that second chance and second opportunity to play some ball, man. I just think that was so dope. Of not only Brad looking out for you, but just you being a good dude and being able to restart your career.
And that was always my thing. Like, I never tried to carry myself with that whole, holier than thou, bigger than the world type deal, because, at the end of the day, that's not the type of person my parents raised.
That's right.
Basketball is only going to take you but so far, but being a good person is going to take you even further. So I always tried to, make sure I did the right things, no matter what case may be.
I loved your mom, man.
Yeah,
and you're right, man. She was related, but your dad was so cool, man. Talk about your dad. He was your assistant coach, man. How was that, having your dad and your brother on the sidelines with you, man? Talk about that.
Man, it was a lot harder than people may think. My dad, he coached me since I was 9, through Parks and Rec. Somehow he ended up on the bench at Providence. Somehow he ended up on the bench for Monacan. He always found a way.
He just appeared, right? He just appeared. He just appeared on the bench.
He always found a way, So, which that time, elementary school to middle school, I loved it, because every little kid looked up to his father, Come high school, that's when it got a little tough.
Right.
And I say that because if I have a bad game, it's like, am I only playing because my dad's a coach? We always battle that internally. So that was always a tough thing for me. And that's something me and him never talked about. But now that I'm a father, I completely understand why he did it, because my daughter, she's not showing any interest in the sports yet. But, when and if that time comes, for damn sure I'm going to be right there trying to coach. So I get it 100% now. Back then it was tough because that little teenage rebellion, and he could tell me the sky's blue. I'll say it's green. So that was really difficult. That was really difficult. But like I say, I completely get it. I love the guy. Both of my dad and my brother love him to death. My brother, he always kept it, like Larry said. My brother always kept it 100 with me, no matter what.
You need that, bro. You need that.
He never showed any type of bias. Me and him had, a lot of conversations after my high school years about like stuff I could have done differently. And the thing him and my dad has always said is, I wish you would have listened, and so do I.
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, man. But you live and you learn, man.
You live and you learn. I mean, you still put up some good credentials, bro. I mean, you. Not many people can consider it was second team all Metro or first team all district, but I know you think back and you like, man, like you said, you were rebellious and just trying to do your own thing. You weren't really, thinking about it at that time in your life.
Yeah, because
trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because like as a 16, 17-year-old kid, if my dad's coach, my brother's one of the coaches, and they're telling me shoot, attack, kind of I'm thinking like, I'm not trying to be selfish, and I know y'all want me to kind of succeed. So I battle a lot of that as well. So it was definitely, tough. I think anybody who plays for a family member can kind of understand where I'm coming from, but it was definitely tough.
And it's also all out. Real quick, Larry, it's all eyes on you. All eyes on you because all the teammates looking at you like, wait a minute, his dad the coach. So what they gonna do if he mess up? They're gonna give him an extra.
His dad used to get in this shit.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was my thinking behind it, right? They would tell you the complete opposite. These are conversations I never had with my teammates at the time. But my brother, he would come to me and tell you, no, they want you to do this. They want you to do that. They want you to do stuff that we're telling you to do. But it just, like I said, 16, 17-year-old kid, it just didn't click. You know what I mean? If I always said I didn't want to be one of these people. But if I had the mindset now that I had then, or then that now, and I had it back then, it would have been a completely different story.
He should have been the player of the year. He had that potential. He should have been first team all Metro. And I'm not exaggerating. And I could be, and I know I sound biased, and I am biased.
Larry said this before. I want you to know, Larry said this before we came on. Like, this is all real right here, dog, for real.
And Sean know this, man, because I've been following Sean for so long, and he was probably one of the most, it was probably one of the highly anticipated players that I was waiting to just break out. And he just never would take that next step.
Right.
He would show flashes of it. And it's like, this motherfucker, he can do whatever he wants, and he just won't do it. It's like he knows that he's better than the guys he is, but he just won't do it. And it was just like, and it won't like, he was just like.
Was it like you took your personality, you just laid back? Or was
he
it
was
just,
laid back.
You a team guy?
Yeah.
What was it?
100%. Like my mindset is if I'm going into a game and Brad hit his first 2 shots, Derek hit his first 2 shots, X hit his first 2 shots, I'm gonna let them go. Like I'm gonna take my charges, I'm gonna dive on the floor, I'm gonna get rebounds, I'm gonna play a little bit of defense, and that's what it is. Like I'm never gonna put my team in a bad situation because I feel like I'm not getting enough baskets. That was never in me. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna force up bad shots. I'm never gonna I just try to play the game the right way because I love the game too much. I have too much respect for the game to try to insult about doing stuff out of my character.
Even if somebody from Cosby or Clover Hill give Huguenot talking mess to you, you ain't gonna try to give it. You know what I mean?
He got up for the Huguenot game. He got up for the Huguenot game for Warren Wilson.
So, me and Juan, another one of my guys. We played we played AU together when I was like 7th grade. So that was another one of my guys. But, yeah.
Another player that had the potential to be great, and injuries killed him. Oh my God, this dude was.
He was nice too. I remember reading about him too. I remember reading about him.
Shout out Juan, man. Juan was like that. Juan was like that.
Yeah, I heard. So look, man, you said you were loading up on the credits in college, bro. You wanted to play ball, but you were just trying to get out of school and get your education thing started. So tell everybody what's up with you now after your balling days.
Like I said, I'm a daddy now. Got a little 4-year-old daughter who she has so much energy, twice the amount of energy that I had, whatever. But got a 4-year-old. And I'm engaged, getting married in September.
Congrats, bro. Congrats.
Yeah,
high school sweetheart, man. You've been with that girl forever, man.
Forever.
I remember y'all was dating in high school.
Oh, she a chief too? She a Monacan chief?
Shout out to Jade, man.
Yep. So we get married in September. I'm actually teaching now. It's crazy. Me, my dad, and my brother, all teachers. My dad's at Armstrong, my brother's at Huguenot. And right now I'm at Thomas Dale, but I'll be at Providence middle of next year.
And we got three positive brothers in the classroom to teach these youngs, bro. I love it.
Yeah. So that's where my whole focus is now. Throughout the years I flirted with the idea of trying to get back in the ball, but once you into the real world, got a real job, got a family to take care of, my priorities are just shifting. So my number one priority is making sure my daughter, my family's good. Ball is like way down the list at this point. Hey,
sign her up for soccer, bro. I was a soccer coach for like 3 years. We want to chip. So she might like soccer, dude.
I was gonna put her in soccer last year before COVID shut everything down, but she's been swimming in swim class since.
Okay, there you go.
10 months. She wants to do ballet, so we're gonna look into that.
Okay.
As soon as she's old enough, as much running around she doing in the house, putting her in the track. That's an honor. She's doing track. I'm gonna try to push her towards basketball. We'll see how that goes, but my mom is 100% against sports, so that's a battle. I'm gonna see if I can win.
So what about coaching on your end, though? You said I know your daughter's young, but
I flirted around with it. I actually started out teaching at Hermitage 2 years ago. Flirted with that idea of coaching, but at that point I wanted to get all my teaching certification stuff squared away. All that's going to be wrapped up this summer. So next year, I'm definitely going to look into it. 100% going to try to help at Providence, but also want to see if I can, volunteer at Monacan as well. Just go back to my home and help out any way that I can.
You got the temperament for it, man. Shout out to Bradley Eco. Not Bradley. What's the tall boy name?
Dan Eco.
Yeah, him. And Bradley went back to coach at Monacan. So you guys, man, y'all have the right temperament for it, man. And just, I'm proud of you, man. I really am, because maybe my expectations were just so high of you, man. And I just was I talked to your brother, but when I see him, I said, man, your brother make me sick, man. Because he could have been so great, man. You just had this potential, and I know I've been going. Sound like a broken record, but believe me, man, we don't bring nobody on this show. We'll be now. We talk about it. Either he might have some guy that I might know, or vice versa. But we respect each other's opinion on when we do this, and because we know that when we talk about somebody and we so passionate about it, we just not gonna bring nobody on here that don't make good content, man.
No,
and I've been dying to get you on here because when we first did this, I was like, if I'm gonna friend request him, and if I ask him, I'm gonna let him check it out, but I'm gonna get him.
And we appreciate the love on the page, but I'm gonna piggyback on what Larry said. Like, I respect Larry's opinion with knowledge in sports and just in general enough to know if he puts you on. And again, I read about you. I knew all about you. I never saw you play in person. I saw you on film, but I read about you all the time. So I knew what we were getting ourselves into. I just didn't know the potential that Larry was saying that you could have had. I looked at the numbers, man. You did your thing. Second team all Metro. I mean, that's enough for me, bro. That's enough for me. You know
and he was, and it was with very little effort. So imagine
effort. Yeah, it was just natural. It was just natural.
Yeah, it was natural for him. And I tell him, I'm gonna tell y'all this story. This is what I told him. I said, when I get you on, I'm gonna ask you, do you remember this? I want to say maybe going into your senior year, maybe, or maybe it was after the season. I don't know. Do you remember you, your dad, and your brother? We was at TJ. It was at I think it was an AAU tryout or something. And I remember you walked in the gym and everybody was like, there you go. CT was in there. I think CT was coming. Might have been Richmond Metro.
I remember that. Yep, it was.
I'm going to tell you what this man did, Ruby. I'm going to tell you this is the mystery of Sean Armstrong.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He remembered too. He remembered.
Listen, I want to go off. This man came in the gym, right? Like, he was the shit. Like, he just walked in, took his stuff. Everybody was looking like, man, there you go. He got on the court. He was dribbling down. He was playing the guard. He was just doing what he wanted to do. But it was this one play. He was coming down. And I guess he looked at, he had a lane, and this was like, oh shit. We was at TJ Gym. And he got the ball, man. And he went up and he got up so big. And it was just like, boom! Like, everybody was like, God damn. He brought the whole fucking gym down, and he got off the court. You were on Black Man Can't Jump, Flighting Willie, and they had goddamn dunk do the alley-oop. And man said, he said, man, I don't even want to play no more, man. I don't even want to play no more. Yeah. He did a walk-off jump. This man did the dunk, walked off the floor, him and his dad. And I said, where you going, man? He's like, man, we done. I said, God, what the fuck? Did y'all see this shit?
That's crazy,
man.
dog.
I was like, this nigga is the shit I told y'all. You remember that joint, man?
I do. 100%.
I said,
so look, Larry got. This is gonna be my last question. Sean, Larry had that moment. What was the best sports moment for you? Like you said, you started when you were 5, all the way up into college, man. Is it one play? And see, players are different than fans. We fans, so Larry got a different story. But what was it for you? Was it a play or game?
No, I could tell you. I remember clearly my first year playing. Like I said, we lost that first game and I won the championship. But in that championship game, we were playing. I forgot the school we were playing. Anyway, we was down, whatever. And we're in, like I said, I'm 8-year-old playing against 19-year-olds. So we're playing at Manchester Middle in the championship, and we're down by like 7 or 8 fourth quarter. And I hit a 23, 24, 25 footer at 8-9 years old. And that just got the team going. We ended up winning the championship. That will always be my favorite sports moment of my entire life.
See? And you going back to 8, bro. You going back to 8. That's what's up, dog. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Man, we asked Doovie about that thing you told me to ask him about too, about that dunk. He said he don't remember that. He said he don't remember that.
Of course he don't.
Of course he don't.
Yeah. I said, I said, Sean, he said, I don't remember that, man. He said, I don't remember that. He said, I'll let alone a dunk on me. Oh, I don't know about that. Block it, whatever you said. He said he don't remember that.
Let me ask you this though, Sean, real quick. I know we gotta let you go, man. It's getting dark and late, and everybody gotta go. But how do you, now you're in education, how do you correlate? How do you make the transition, like from sports to education? Do you use sports analogies? Do you use what you learn in sports to kind of, you know what I'm saying, develop education?
Good question.
Yeah, all the time. Because I naturally gravitate towards the athletes. I know my first year teaching, I had a few football players in my classroom. First thing I did, took them outside, talked to them one-on-one, like, look,
facts. Yep.
I ain't having no bullshit in my class.
There you go.
Whatever the case may be. I have no problem talking to coaches on the third. So my biggest thing I'm trying to let them know is there's a life after basketball.
Tell them.
Because like I said, when I was going into college, that's all I wanted to do was play ball. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was play ball.
Tell them, bro.
Now I'm on the other side of things. I feel like, especially because I'm still a pretty young guy, they kind of are willing to listen, when I'm talking. So I always try to push the importance of making sure you get an education. The sports will always be there, but your education, if you use the sport to get your education, perfect. But never put that sport on a pedestal higher than that education.
Tell them though, that's great advice, man. Especially again, like you said, they're gonna listen to you. You're relatable, and they can look up to you in certain ways that they probably can't look up to somebody else, man. That's right. so nice, man. I love to hear that, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. I got one last question. It's about your school, Monacan. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Have you been following the programs, basketball programs? And if you have, what do you think about the program since you left? Because I know, like you said, you helped jumpstart that thing.
Yeah.
Because Monacan had a history back when Wu Baden was there. In the 90s, what I'm saying, coming into Jasmine Young and Tiffany Bauer, Jasmine, the girls, the boys. And now, since you have jump-started resurgence, what do you think about the program now?
Like I said, I think we definitely jump-started back in 2010. Was it 2016 when they won states? That officially, put the stamp on.
Shout out to that team. Shout out to
definitely 100%. That definitely put a stamp on Monacan being a competitive program in the area. I've actually talked to their coach a couple times here and there, and I think we're in a good space. I'm always going to refer to Monacan as we, because I always feel I'm, no matter what we're family. So I definitely think they're 100%. So I definitely.
The cup and the program, dog.
Yeah, I know everybody want to talk about Trinity. It ain't always about Trinity with me. I got some love.
He's showing some Monacan love too. He's showing some Monacan love.
Always got to. But I definitely think one of the top, especially when we're talking about consistency, one of the top consistent programs in the area. Bar none.
We just got Monacan just got to keep the talent there. Like they, like you said, like earlier, what? Karan and brothers went somewhere. If they would have had you, Brad, oh my, them two,
learning from those guys.
Yeah. And one thing I don't talk about, I actually had an opportunity to leave as well, but I was so cool with my guys, I couldn't see and that's one of the frustrating. That's one of the frustrating parts about not even high school ball, college ball. And I was like, guys are so quick to pick up and leave and all that. That just wasn't in me,
portal, man.
Think about Malik. Was Malik Croup there when you was there?
He came in after me. So he was a freshman the year after I left.
Okay, because he ended up leaving and going to Millwood. So he was another, potentially great player. He had that skill set too. Monacan had some.
Man, Monacan always had talent, man. Talent. And it's the way Monacan is zoned. They got so many different areas they can bring in, bro. It's like the diversity is so nice the way Monacan is built. They got so many different nice athletes, bro. It's amazing that they keep building like that.
It's zip code, like you said.
It's the zip code, man.
Say that shit. Yeah, because we can't. I told him, I said, man, Monacan has some people, man.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to all the Monacan, basketball boys.
And I hope you can get over there, to help them build, bro.
I'm gonna find a way. Yeah.
Let me ask you one. I keep saying one last question, but I love your perspective, bro. What do you think about the transfer portal, man? Like Larry just mentioned earlier.
Good question.
People exactly basically you just throw your name in there, right?
And Larry, we definitely hate it because Walker Kessler.
Oh, come on, preach, bro, preach.
Everybody saw it in a year, if not this year, maybe next year.
He was going to be the guy. His people saw it too.
My God, everybody had to see it. But that I just think it's so easy for guys. And granted, I don't know everybody's situation, so this is outside looking at. Right. I think anytime a guy doesn't have the situation that he wants or was, I guess, promised to him, they just throw their name in that portal. It's just annoying as a fan to see. Sometimes I think guys want to transfer so they can put an Instagram picture up. I'm 100%
I think so.
Oh
my God. Tell them, bro. Oh my. And look,
like,
that is so, you know what? People are not saying that, but that is so true, dog. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's true, man.
I'm 100, and here they go. I'm 100% committed. But
no. Here's
for the year.
here's what kills me when they say, please respect my decision at the end. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, you just said you was 100% committed, then 2 weeks later, you in the portal.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like Larry mentioned this off camera. Now you got more power, not only in NBA, but now college kids got more power. The transfer portal basically is an app, bro. People don't understand it's an app. You put your name, you put your name into an app, and other coaches can contact you. So now they got more power, and it's making the game just crazy. It's a mess right now, man.
And granted, you know, that's not speaking to everybody. I know there's guys like
for sure.
I'm still a basketball guy. I still follow guys. Greg Parham, who a Monacan guy who played at BMI.
Shout out to Alden. Shout out to Alden.
Yeah, that's my guy. I know he just entered the transfer portal, but that's because VMI doesn't have a graduate program.
So I feel
like
that's different. That's different.
Correctly.
Yeah.
But
when the guys in South Alabama now.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Okay. South Alabama.
Yep. So like I said, when guys are here for 1 year, here the next year, it's just annoying. I kind of wish they'll kind of go back to the way it used to be, but you know, that's just how it is these days.
Man, we talked about that earlier today.
Man, that's a whole nother show, man. We got. Hey, look, I know you. It's a sit for sure. It's a 4-part series for sure. And
we definitely gonna do something, man.
I know you following us on Facebook. We appreciate the love, 100%. Man. And
listen,
man. No, man, we appreciate you coming on, Sean. Like I learned so much about you, bro. Like just reading the box score and the stats doesn't do the justice of what kind of person you are, man. We appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us tonight, man. For real, no doubt.
No, I like I said, definitely appreciate y'all having me. One of the main reasons I decided to do it, you know, just to me, Larry reaching out, that just proves how authentic he was the entire time. You know, the support he showed back then, it wasn't no fake, nothing fake. It's all love. So I definitely, you know, anything I can do to help you guys out, I'm on board 100%.
Man, I appreciate you. That's all love, bro. It's all love.
I appreciate you, Sean, man. It's 100% love, man. I love your family, but you most of all, man. I love you for real, man, because I don't usually say that. Yeah. And I'm getting emotional about it, man, because
go ahead and preach it. Go ahead and preach it, Larry.
Do, man, because because you have seen the light. You saw your errors of your ways, and this is the stories that we like to hear, because everybody wants to hear about everybody who was all Metro, all NBA, all state. But you had a story to tell, just like when Doobie came on. Doobie came on, and I was like, damn, I didn't know that. And I'm so close to you, so I didn't want to kind of dominate the whole interview, man. But I do, bro. Man. I love you, man, for real.
I love you too, dog.
That's all love. That's all love, man. And look, 100%. I just met you, and I'm already connected, man. And like I said, I see you on our page. I appreciate the support.
Always showing us love.
And I want everybody to keep turning this book, man, because he's not done, bro. He gonna get into coaching. His daughter gonna be a track star. I'm calling it. She gonna be a track star.
Shout out to Corey, man.
Yes, sir. And look, man, like I said, man, everybody has a story, and you just told yours, and we appreciate the support. We're gonna post this everywhere on our social media platforms, man. Sean, it's been a blessing, bro. We appreciate you, bro.
Man,
yes, sir.
Thank y'all for having me. Definitely appreciate y'all. And
congratulations.
you know, I'm looking forward. Thank you, man. But I know this podcast is gonna take off. So, you know, I look forward to the day when I can say I was on one of the early episodes. I'm one of the
Yeah, we love that. We love that.
We love that, man. Yeah, expect a gift for you and your beautiful bride, man. That girl was always a beautiful girl, and you know how to pick them, boy. I got to compliment you on your taste, man.
I got lucky.
You did all right for yourself. You
got lucky. Hey, look, that's that Smoke Tree Drive. That's a Smoke Tree Drive love. If y'all don't know what I mean, y'all need to look it up. Smoke Tree Drive.
Compliment that brother on his taste, man.
I gotta just I always mess her about this. So we actually met at Monacan, and she ended up going to Meadowbrook. So we ended up playing at Meadowbrook my junior year. Halftime of the game, so we're warming up, whatever. She tried to come onto the court to talk to me during halftime when we were warming up. I had to like push her off to the side.
Oh, so no.
Wow.
To this day, I still mess her about that. Like, you try to come on during the game.
On the court? Come on, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's love. That's all love.
That's all love, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look, man, listen, man. Once again, we appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep encouraging these young men, and they looking up to you, whether you know it or not, bro. And you know, you're a good ambassador to the game of basketball and the game of life, bro. And keep doing what you're doing, my man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. And we're gonna stay in touch, bro.
Yes, sir.
100%. 100%.
Easy, bro. Appreciate you.
Sponsored by Transitions Empowerment.